Hello everyone and welcome to WWF Betrayal, a beat-em-up based on an old WWF storyline. We're going to be playing as The Rock, because why wouldn't we be? Our title was just stolen from us, and these referees just sat there and watched it happen. We're gonna teach them a thing or two. Well, that's all we needed to hear. We may not care about anyone's Rudy Poo daughter, but we do care about our stolen title. So the core of this game's design is based entirely around your range and the range of your opponents. We can use both punches and kicks. Kicks do more damage, but we have to get much closer to use them. It's usually safe to use kicks on an enemy without a weapon, but when an enemy does have a weapon, you need to stay as far away as possible and plug away at them with your punches. Thankfully right now we have a pipe, which in addition to giving us the same range as our arms, also doubles our attack power. Almost every enemy in the game has less range than our punches, so we just have to be careful. Our pipe doesn't break until it takes a very significant number of hits. The hits across someone else's head, that is. The only other way to lose a weapon is if it gets knocked out of our hand, and we only have to worry about that if the person we're attacking also has a weapon. However, we still have the advantage in the range department. We want to get just close enough to hit them with our pipe, but not close enough that they can punch us. This is the first stage, so it's a little bit easier to play the range game here than it is when the enemies get more aggressive later. Look at The Rock strutting. Look at him strut. So yeah, this pretty much serves as a tutorial stage, but you're still going to get your butt kicked if you don't get a hold of the design. This is one of those beat-em-ups that has a scathing difficulty at first, but once you're in on it, so to speak, it gets much easier. The back of the case did advertise destructible environments. That's basically a hint telling you to smash things to get health pickups, because that's the only way you do get health pickups. You may not need them though, because it's actually pretty easy to get through this game with plenty of health once you figure out what you're doing. Alright, that's enough of that, now on to something more interesting. So this level teaches us a couple things. For one, it teaches us that we can dash, as it's the only way to get through these traps right here. And two, it teaches us that the enemies are not just going to stand still and let us smack them around. This wrench works exactly the same way as the pipe we picked up earlier. So the enemies in this stage aren't going to stay far away and poke at us with their weapon, they're actually going to charge right at us. Because of this, it's inevitable that they're going to get close enough to do some serious damage, but we can easily maneuver around them. Enemies without weapons are still just as easy, though. Sometimes enemies will charge straight through our punches even while we're hitting them, and we need to quickly switch to kicks to finish them off. And of course, we can just walk right around their backside and kick them while they're trying to attack us, but this really only works if you're fighting one enemy at a time. These crates are a one-hit kill, and they often try to trick you into wasting it by placing a weak enemy right after you pick it up, and I fell for it, but that's okay because it's more fun to punch things. So you may have noticed that sometimes the Rock grapples an enemy and slams them down. This happens whenever our power meter is full, the power meter being that thing above our health bar. Our grapple isn't terribly useful against normal enemies because we only do it when they're near death anyway. However, it will become much more important in just about a minute or so. So at this point you've seen pretty much all of the game's design, which may not seem like much, but it's not a very long game. They do introduce some new enemy types later that mix things up a bit, but the main design stays pretty much the same. I do like games with simple design though, and the wrestling characters only serve to make it much more entertaining. I also get a large amount of enjoyment out of the character animation. I mean, again, look at The Rock's walk cycle. That's just fantastic. He knows what you did, and he's coming over there to hit you with a wrench. That's what that walk cycle says. Yeah, that's right. So now we're going to face down with Stone Cold Austin, and the same design applies to him as it did to the rest of the characters. The main difference is that his punch reaches exactly as far as ours does. Thankfully, if we're patient enough, he'll just run right into it. Where does he think he's going? He's not running away from us. Get back here, we have twice your health bar. So that's WWF Betrayal. It's a very simplistic game, but I think it benefits from its simplicity. It fits the Game Boy Color perfectly, and it still carries the wrestling spirit through its over-the-top story.